Bitcoin is pumping, but this might be the last point before we actually break down. Make sure to watch to the end, since I have a lot of charts, a lot of data points in this video. This video is going to tell you if we're in a bull market or a bear market, what is happening, are we about to actually crash? You know, we're going to be looking at all the liquidity charts, we're going to be looking at all the different scenarios as well, and we're going to be looking at the relevant levels you need to be paying attention to. As you can see, we're literally pumping. However, I think this is a massive point where we need to be deciding what the stock market is doing, you know, what's happening in the crypto market, of course, and what's the next direction for Bitcoin. So if you're ready for this video, make sure to be smashing up that like button. Let's try to get above 25 likes this video. That'll be absolutely amazing, guys. And with that being said, let's get straight away into this banger. Bow. So without wasting time, you can see that we're already pumping in towards this level. This level is the mid-range level, and I think this is very significant. I was looking for potential, you know, roll over here, but I did highlight this area is, you know, not the place to be getting too bearish, since we had a similar formation to this region over here where we had some compression. And of course, in the 2024 run up, we had the same kind of posturing where we started to compress before we actually went parabolic. So I said on my video yesterday and the one before that as well, that it's likely that this is a continuation pattern, and that's exactly what has been playing out. You can see Bitcoin has been breaking out towards the upside. You know, we have not actually rejected from this level. We had acceptance and we held a support level, and the next relevant level is this one here that I've been highlighting. And yeah, you can see that this is a previous region where we rejected. You know, once we reclaimed it as support, we went to the highs. Once we lost it, rejected again as resistance, came here, we had another rejection, broke above, we held this level before actually, you know, coming back to this support level. Then this capped the price for a very long time. We were in this bracketed environment. You know, you can view this as some sort of bear flag where you consolidated, and this was kind of the last point before we actually pulled back all the way in towards $75,000 for Bitcoin price without any pullbacks until we came to retest it. And then again, that was another rejection point, and then we actually consolidated before we reclaimed this level, and now we're moving in towards this, you know, key mid-range. And of course, this level is right around the $100,000 mark. So of course, it's a big psychological level too, where a lot of people will be getting euphoric. A lot of people will be thinking, okay, we're back in a bull market, Bitcoin's back above 100K, you know, we're going straight to the moon here. Now, is this the level to be concerned? Are we going to just see a big rejection or not? Make sure to be watching this video, because that's what I'm going to be covering. Now, moving on towards the next chart, you can clearly see I have an ABC correction here. This is the thumbnail. This is the kind of question that we need to be asking. Is this, you know, the formation of a macro lower high before we start to move towards the downside? And yeah, we need to be covering this because, you know, we've just, you know, broke above the high volume node on the daily time frame. This is the area where, you know, you can roll over. It's the point of control. It's the most traded region within a range, and then that's, you know, computed, and the standard deviations gives you a mean. The mean is your point of control. This is the area where, you know, you get a lot of reactions, as you can see by the mid-range over here as well. So just going further, highlighting the volume, you can see that we started pumping. However, the fact that we've been pumping off of, you know, relatively low volume, we can see that the volume is not really showing us high volume nodes as we're pumping in towards this level. It makes us question, is this a trap? You know, there's no real volume. So this is a point to the bears where, of course, you can make the case that volumes are very low. We can actually look at the daily exchange volume and just wait for it to load. You can see lower lows, lower highs. This is showing that this pump has not really been backed by volume, and we've just been moving towards the upside. So it is valid. We can actually start to see a retracement towards the downside, because this pump has not really been backed by proper volume like we kind of see in the more kind of sustainable rallies where we just continue towards the upside. And of course, you can look at this bull flag where we're in and around a rejection region. You know, we're starting to pump now, so we're a little bit higher, but you know, you could draw it using a wicks, and we're still kind of below this resistance level. You can see that this is a region where you can get a rejection. Previously, if we actually look at price action before this range, and we look at this range that we were in for about 8 months, we had a similar formation where we were stuck between a flag. We had multiple rejections, and then that's, you know, the kind of price action before we had the massive pump. That is definitely on the table. There is no kind of promise that we move up, but of course, this is another reason why we're kind of being cautious at this region. But I'll get onto the bullish side in a second. I'm just highlighting all the points without any bias, and I'll let you guys decide whether you think we're in a bull market or a bear market after you see all the kind of data points. But yeah, you can see as well, this region is kind of the last candle before we had a massive move towards the downside. So it's a supply zone that, again, is likely to, you know, be troublesome to break above, and it can cause for some sort of a rejection. And if we do get a rejection, you can see that this, we have a gap here. So this inefficiency candle where a lot of people would have been sidelined, there's a lot of resting orders where if we come in towards 90K, I think this will be massive support before we can actually start to tackle all-time highs. So this is a key region as well. We have a supply zone where it looks like this can be a region where we start to stall at least. And if we do get that correction, then this is the previous support level that I'll be actually paying attention to. So just analyzing the liquidity, we can give it a quick refresh and just see what's happening in the short term. We're starting to move in towards this liquidity pocket on a 24-hour. And again, there's no real liquidity after 99k. So again, this begs the question, has all the liquidity to the upside been grabbed off of this low volume pump? And is it likely for us to come towards the downside? We need to be checking this out. So you can see the top side liquidity has been grabbed now. And if we actually look at, funding rates and things, we can go in towards the lower time frame. So if we go in towards the hourly time frame and just see how, the order flow is actually progressing, you can see that the funding rates are quite negative and there's a lot of people kind of shorting. So I think if we actually finally just grab the last bit of liquidity, then of course, open interest can decrease. And if open interest still doesn't decrease as we keep moving up, it may suggest that there's a lot of kind of longing in towards the level. And if we come towards the downside, that can cause that flush. So again, just be a bit cautious and, observe what's happening with the open interest as we pump in towards the 100k level. So yeah, if we actually look at this formation, it looks like potentially we can get a move down. And if we actually look at the retracement levels using our Fibonacci tool, you can see this is the exact region where the bears have an opportunity to move the price to the downside. We're at the 65618 golden pocket, where this is typically a retracement level that you typically move in towards, and then you get a retracement down. So again, this actually highlights that, okay, we're pumping in towards resistance now. We're near a psychological level where people are thinking we're going to go to 100k. And if we start to see weakness in this level and we can't hold this point of control with at least 3 daily candle closes, that is not acceptance in my books. And I think that it's likely we can at least come towards this 90k region where we can get some support. And then that's where we're going to be seeing that low, that higher low, before we actually tackle all-time highs. So this is kind of best case scenario for the bulls if we start to see some weakness, because again, if things aren't, proper due to the low volume, then there is no guarantee that we won't just, come and sweep this low before actually continuing. So definitely just watch out for this scenario as we start to move in towards this 100k level. Now, that's most of the kind of bearish scenarios out of the way. So we can actually look at the other side where we're having stable coins being minted a lot, which is causing the price to actually move towards the upside. We're having the MACD actually crossing bullish. And typically every time that this has happened on a daily time frame, you can see we've had upwards of 70 to 80% pumps towards the upside, and it's likely that this is what's going to be happening. You can see we're already moving up since I've created this fractal here. You can see that it's likely we can move towards new all-time highs and in towards the 120k, 130k, even 140k and higher if we actually play this out. So of course, this is one point to the bulls where the momentum's on our side. We flip resistance in towards support. Things are looking good historically. Every time, we've had some trend lines and things and we've actually held structure, we've actually moved towards the upside. And again, we may not actually be topping out here. The 4-year cycle suggests that this year should be bullish in general. So of course, it is likely that we can actually move towards the upside. And one big factor as well is the global liquidity. I've been talking about this for a long time. I've been telling you guys on my channel, it's when we were at the bottom, this is the region where we can actually start to move towards the upside. The global liquidity has been perfectly predicting this double bottom when you offset it by 105 days. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We're already moving towards the upside. We're in and around this region where we had the compression in the global liquidity. You can see it looked like we could have been slowing down, but then it just started to pop again straight without no pullbacks in towards new highs. And this could be the actual, calm before the storm. This could be the region where we just shatter through 100k. The negative funding rate can actually start to flip back positive, because this is the region where, typically we actually get these massive pumps. You can see after you consolidate and you start to move up and funding is quite low, that is a sign that people do not believe that we're going to be moving higher. There's no real kind of liquidity behind markets. This is the funding rate heat map, and you can see that if I put it on a higher time frame, it's very green and even purple on most coins, excluding just Fartcoin, this meme coin. But most of the coins are showing that the funding rates are quite low, which just actually highlights the fact that the environment right now is perfect for a massive squeeze. Not many people are taking on new positions, and it's just whales actually buying up the price perhaps. So again, if this is showing us the direction, the global liquidity, and we continue to follow it, it just suggests that we're going to move up with no kind of meaningful pullbacks. I think max pain may be to the upside, because there's a lot of sideline people that didn't get in. I don't know how, because we've been perfectly telling you guys to be loading up on that dip, and that's exactly what we've been doing. But you can see this inefficiency candle just shows the move has been very, very parabolic, and typically you do actually feel these. But if we don't and we just continue higher, I don't think a lot of people will actually be too happy. There's a lot of bears looking for price to come down. So again, I'm just here to present the facts without any bias. And if we follow the global liquidity after this compression and we start to pop towards new highs, this is how potentially it could look. And a lot of people will not be catching this pump. So I'm not going to be remaining, bearish. And you can see multiple countries are actually showing the global liquidity moving towards all-time highs, and liquidity drives markets. You can see Bitcoin follows the liquidity with a lag, and it looks like we're exactly following the trajectory. It shows that we're just moving up very, very quickly. So if we just continue, do not be surprised. I think it's a warning sign that anything can happen, and this is the point to be paying attention. When people are losing focus, when funding rates are quite low, this is the time to actually be paying attention, because this is when the squeezes happen, as I've highlighted on Twitter. So make sure to be following me, of course, to be getting this information early. So yeah, this is a massive, massive level to be paying attention, guys. I will not be, losing focus here, because we're moving in towards massive, massive resistance levels. And if we do clear this, mid-range, I think that anything can happen. We can actually start to move towards all-time highs. It may look something like this, so we go to 100K, then we just get this massive squeeze. A lot of people miss it. We might consolidate for a bit, maybe test this level, and then that's it. We just start to, soar towards the upside. So if you're enjoying the video and you're agreeing with the analysis, make sure to be checking out first link down below. The first link down below is for HyroTrader. Now, HyroTrader is a crypto proprietary trading firm offering you up to $200,000 in your Bybit account to be trading with. So make sure to be checking this out, as I think this is one of the best opportunities in crypto. You can see we have different account sizes, so perhaps the 200K challenge may not be, the one for you, but I definitely think that, there's a lot of different options for different individuals depending on your risk tolerance. So of course, using that first link down below, you'll get a nice 5% off, which gives you a nice discount. Of course, it will help support the channel. So make sure to be checking that first link down below over there. And yeah, we can go in towards how you can access this account. What's the process like? You have the option to go for a one-step challenge, which is just 10% of the account size. So you make 10% profit to show that you can be trusted with the funds, to show that you're a profitable trader. And then from there, you get your money back essentially, and then you're trading live. Or you can go for the two-step evaluation. And the difference between the two is that if you go for the one step, you have a smaller daily drawdown, meaning that you have less money to risk and you're more likely to potentially actually not get through this. But of course, if you go for the two-step evaluation, you make 10% on the first phase, and then you make 5% on the next phase. And once you do that, you get your money back, so your challenge fee back, to show that you're a profitable trader. You can be making HyroTrader money as a proprietary trading firm. So of course, the profit split, you can get up to 90% of the profits that you make on the account once you scale, of course. So yeah, definitely be checking this out. Yeah, I definitely think this is one of the best opportunities in crypto right now. So that's the first link down below for HyroTrader. If you think you're a good trader, if you want to be making money in crypto and without trading leverage and things, which is, I think, a way better way to go about it. And you can make a lot more, of course, since you can be trading with up to 200K in your account. Of course, I think HyroTrader is great. So I think HyroTrader will be for you if you agree with that. So check that first link down below if you want to be taking advantage of this opportunity. And yeah, you can check the reviews below. People that perhaps have problems with exchanges, they don't want to put their own money in exchanges and risk the fact that, FTX can happen or something. Of course, you could be using HyroTrader as your trading simulated funds, of course. And, you could be making a lot more money than perhaps you have on an exchange without actually risking your capital, which is, a very, very safe way to be trading. And, all the people that have been successfully making thousands per week actually gave nice reviews over there. And of course, it shows the rating. So definitely check this out, 4.8 rating over here. So nice examples of other people actually, absolutely milking it and making a lot of money with HyroTrader. So yeah, definitely check this out if you're interested. And let's get back to the video. Yeah, we could look at Ethereum in a short term. Potentially, we can actually get some breakout if we actually move towards 100K, and Ethereum can actually start to move towards the upside. And the key thing for me is this zone that I've marked out. I need to see Ethereum break above 2,000 and hold multiple daily candle closes above, or even weekly candle closes, sorry. So we need to, close multiple weeks above this level, and then we can actually start to look at 2.5K. And if we, hold above that, and then things just start, going crazy, 4,000 is not off the table, where we can actually, move up in towards this level, and we can evaluate from there if, Ethereum is fit to start to move towards all-time highs. But again, the number one thing for me in the higher time frames will be the monetary policy. It will be the kind of environment on the macroeconomic aspect to kind of show us if altcoins are going to be doing quite well. Because again, if rates are still high, people are not going to be taking risks. There's not going to be new liquidity coming in towards markets. And again, you can see the daily exchange volumes, they're quite low. There's not much people actually taking on new positions now. So we need to be getting a clearer picture. You know, we have tariffs, we have wars going on, we have things that are causing altcoins and risk assets to come down. So of course, once we get a clearer picture, I think the altcoins will start running. So one metric for it could be the Bitcoin dominance, or moving in towards some resistance levels or a supply zone. We have a rising wedge if you look at it from this lens, and if we start to break down, this could actually show us that the altcoin season is actually starting. You know, that will lead to a lot of shorts actually getting liquidated, and the moves will be likely very, very explosive. You know, there's no interest right now, but once things start to change, you do not want to kind of be chasing price. You want to kind of know what's going on already, which is why you need to be subscribed with post notifications on, of course. Quick plug. But anyways, you can see we're in Bitcoin season now, and historically this has been the best time to be establishing your positions, because once we start to move up already, the time we spend in altcoin season is for selling is very short-lived. You can see we come in towards altcoin season where every altcoin is outperforming Bitcoin, but then we start to roll over very, very quickly. So again, you want to be making money on the way up, and as we enter that zone, you need to be kind of de-risking and taking your profits, of course. And yeah, DXY is breaking down, so if this continues, then it gives us a better environment for the altcoins to start running. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you got a clearer picture on the market. You know the level to be watching, 100k. You want to be observing what's happening, and I'll be making a video tomorrow actually showing if we hit this level or not. And of course, if you know you want to hit instant news, make sure to be following me on X to be staying up with all the, you know, charts, the data points, the breaking news and things like this. I'm posting on X first, so make sure to be following me at JezzaBTC, just like my YouTube. And of course, make sure to be smashing that like button and subscribing. And yeah, that'll be it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one, but have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.